Good morning, everybody. Oh boy, are we not on this trip today?
We are not. Oh my gosh, we're in one of my favorite places in all of Nevada.
We had many requests to come out here and do this.
We did. We're finally here.
We are at Valley of Fire.
Valley of Fire. What a spectacular place. Took my breath away when we drove up this morning.
We're about an hour's north of Las Vegas.
Straight up Interstate 15. It is well worth your time, guys, to come up and see Valley of Fire. We're going to show it to you here in a minute.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful day today. Yesterday it rained so much, it just almost cleaned the air out.
It did. And the plants, they're just this vibrant green. And we're also seeing little puddles of water here at Valley of Fire,
really
which only happens after rain.
A lot of little critters running around trying to get a drink. Okay, this adventure starts right now. Valley of Fire, with its 40,000 acres of bright red Aztec sandstone, became Nevada's first state park in 1935. The entrance fee per vehicle is $10, and the main road through the park is just about 10.5 miles long. We're going to stop at some of the points of interest on the park map and show them to you, but first though, let's just look at this landscape for a minute and ask ourselves, why is this here? This sandstone is from the Jurassic period, the age of dinosaurs 150 million years ago. It's a remnant of the sand left behind by wind after inland seas dried up. The otherworldly formations came from uplifting and faulting in this region, and then extensive erosion. Back in the early 1900s, a rough road connecting Los Angeles and Salt Lake City was built right through this area, called the Arrowhead Trail. There's a Nevada historical marker along the Valley of Fire Road pointing this out, and here's where the trail went through. Fun fact, in the 1920s, a AAA official was traveling along the Arrowhead Trail at sunset and commented that the entire valley looked like it was on fire. Well, bingo! The name kept, and Valley of Fire was born. It was along this trail in 1915 that a tragic event happened to a Civil War veteran named John C. Clark. While traveling from Bakersfield to Salt Lake City on a buckboard, he stopped in Valley of Fire, tied his horse to the back of the wagon, and wandered around, possibly looking for water. Eventually, he crawled under his buckboard and died, presumably from thirst. This marker is where his body was found on June 30th, 1915. I'm sure you've seen this landscape in the movies. This is where the final racing scenes in Viva Las Vegas with Elvis were filmed. It was the planet Mars in the motion picture Total Recall, and it was the site where Captain Kirk of Star Trek perished. And of course, it's been an untold number of car commercials as well. This place is the perfect background for movies, commercials, and wedding pictures. Okay, the first stop on Valley of Fire Road is the Beehives. Visitors simply can't resist stopping here to look at these cool beehive-shaped formations and climb on the rock faces, us included. These little indentations are irresistible for kids to climb into, and the portholes are great for photo ops. This is also the first spot where we see rainwater gathering in the shallow indentations of rock. We saw lots of these throughout our wanderings, and we'll insert a few other photos as we go along. Water in the desert is always a noteworthy thing. Next up on the journey is Atlatl Rock with its stairway to heaven. Well, maybe not exactly heaven, but there are some really incredibly heavenly views. If you climb the stairs, you are rewarded with this panoramic view in 3 directions.
We are at the top of the climb to the Atlatl Rock overlook. A little out of breath, but well worth the climb. Just pan around what we can see from here. Show you the staircase.
Also at the top of the stairs are some of the very best examples of petroglyphs in this park. The petroglyphs are believed to have been carved by the basket maker culture about 2,500 years ago, and then later by the Puebloans. Historians believe those people lived and farmed in the Mawapa Valley just to the north and visited Valley of Fire between 300 BC and 1150 AD. Nobody knows exactly the meaning of these drawings, but they are endlessly fascinating. Around the corner and behind Atlatl Rock is this hidden gem, Arch Rock. This is Nevada's little version of the arches you'll find over in Utah. What happens with these is that the cementing materials that hold the sand grains together weaken and dissolve over time due to rain and wind, and you get the arch. Eventually, those very same forces will collapse it as well. Also located at the Atlatl Rock turnoff are the two Valley of Fire campgrounds, one off to the left and one behind Arch Rock. There are a total of 72 campsites with shower facilities, grills, and picnic areas, as well as RV electric and water hookups. As you can see on this February Sunday, the campground is full. All right, let's take a little break and stop in at the Visitor Center. It is built in such a way that it just blends in with its surroundings, and it really has a lovely desert garden as well. It is open from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. daily and has interpretive displays of the history and geology of Valley of Fire. There are maps, an information desk, and a gift shop as well. Oh, and don't let me forget, they also have restrooms. As we head east on the Valley of Fire Road, we pass this area called the Seven Sisters, basically named for these 7 huge rock formations all lined up in a row. This is a very popular location for wedding ceremonies, so I will leave a link in the description box below for information on that. There are also picnic tables and restrooms located here as well. Next stop, just past the Seven Sisters, is the cabins. These 3 charming stone cabins in the hillside were built by the Civilian Conservation Corps back in the 1930s when the state park first opened. They're made of native sandstone and were used for many years by campers and travelers on the Arrowhead Trail we mentioned earlier.
Let's check out one of the cabins. This is the one on the far right. It's got a very nice fireplace. It's got a stone and sand floor. Step inside. We have a beamed ceiling. Wow, that's in really good shape considering it was built in the 1930s. And stone walls with mortar. And then one awesome window. Let's check out the view.
Now they are being preserved to remind us of the fine work the CCC did to build our park system. Here's a fun fact. In 1936, the park recorded a total of 9,000 visitors. Nowadays, several 100,000 make their way here each year. And once again, here's another example of precious water from the rain. As we were heading for the Petrified Logs, we came upon this herd of bighorn sheep crossing the road. Honestly, this is the very first time we've ever seen bighorn sheep here at Valley of Fire. Paula was positively breathless at how close we were to them and how long we were able to watch them before they all took off. And a little bit further down the road from the sheep is the Petrified Log. Behind this fence is a rare thing in the desert. It's a tree, or at least it used to be a tree. Millions of years ago, this tree was carried by floodwaters to this spot and then buried beneath thousands of feet of silt and sand. Gradually, minerals replaced the decaying wood cells and it changed to stone. But if you look at it under a microscope, petrified wood will still show every detail of the original plant structure. And right here by the Petrified Log was our first wildflower sighting of the year. This little purple beauty growing out of a crevice in the rock. You just gotta love it. Oh boy, what a day, huh?
Oh my gosh, it's about noontime now. We've been here for about 2.5 hours.
And actually it's a little bit warm out here.
There's a lovely breeze though, thank goodness.
We're going to take a hike now, and we're going to go to a place called Mouse's Tank, and we'll tell you about that as we're on our way.
And we're actually expecting that tank to have water in it after
Yeah, it
yesterday's
should.
rain.
Yeah, all right, let's head down. I'll show you what it looks like. The hike starts right here. This trail is called Petroglyph Canyon, and that's because we are going to see some more fine rock art drawings along the way. And also lots more to see as well on this 3/4 mile trip to Mouse's Tank and back. Just look at this sand. This is amazing.
And it's so soft. It's like walking on cotton.
This is a pretty easy hike. Kids could do this. It takes about 45 minutes round trip, I think. Now there's something you don't see every day. A rock shaped like the Starship Enterprise. How cool is that? The desert is very much alive, never doubt that. Look at this lichen and moss on the north faces of these rocks. Who would believe there'd be lichen in a climate like this? And these shrubs, they are positively glowing with a blue-green color. Must have been yesterday's rain that brought out this vibrant color. And here are some of the petroglyphs we were talking about. We have always wondered what the dark-colored stain is on the walls, and in the visitor center, we finally found out. It's called desert varnish. The varnish happens when iron and manganese in the rock interact with water and algae. Scientists don't know exactly how, but there it is. And the prehistoric peoples who carved the petroglyphs seem to prefer writing on these varnished rock faces, sort of like writing with chalk on a blackboard. Okay, right around the corner here is our final destination on this hike, Mouse's Tank. This natural basin catches rainwater and it often remains in here well into the summer. Mouse's Tank is named for a southern Paiute Indian renegade, Little Mouse, who used this area as a hideout back in the 1890s. He was accused of killing 2 prospectors and other crimes, but successfully hid out here for years using the water in the tank to survive. On our return trip, we had our second thrilling bighorn sheep sighting. Look at these guys right here on the side of the trail, and that one up on top of the rock silhouetted against the sky. Man, there is absolutely no place on earth like the American West. For as many times as we have been here, we had never taken the Mouse's Tank Road any further, but on this day, we did. Just around the bend is this panoramic view called Rainbow Vista. The signpost here says you are looking across 150 million years of time, and you realize that all this that we are looking at came to be when dinosaurs actually walked the earth. The sandstone is made up of grains of quartz cemented together by other materials, and the color of the sandstone comes from whatever material acts as the cement. Silica or calcite make creamy white sandstone. Iron oxide, on the other hand, makes the deep red of Valley of Fire. Also up this road is an incredible formation called the Fire Wave. It's absolutely gorgeous in pictures, but we didn't have time on this trip to get to it because it's an hour hike. A couple of other sites of interest we missed were the White Domes and on the east side of the park, Elephant Rock. We will definitely be coming back and maybe do a vlog on just those and the Fire Wave hike. Okay, Paul, what do you think about the Valley of Fire?
What I can say is we just found a rock to sit on, and oh my gosh, it feels great to sit down.
We're exhausted.
We have walked some miles today.
We have seen more today than we've ever seen in all the times we've come to Valley of Fire.
The bighorn sheep were absolutely icing on the cake. I was so thrilled with them. Over and over and over, we ran across them. Different herds. It was amazing.
If you get a chance to come out here, you know, it's probably around this time of year is the best. I mean,
spring and fall.
Yeah.
It's way hot in the summer.
It gets really hot in the summer, but it's a beautiful day, and there's just hundreds and hundreds of people who are having a ball.
There are in February, and we keep running across a pink Jeep tour, so I know there's lots of tour operators out of Vegas that will bring you up here. You don't even have to drive.
And we're passing out lots of cards for our vlog.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. That's always good. Haven't run into anyone, you know, that knew us, but we've run into some lovely people here on the journey.
Well, if you're not subscribed, you know the routine. Subscribe.
You don't want to miss all this fun. Come on, subscribe.
Yeah, tell your friends. We're having a good time.
We are having just a wonderful day. I've been wanting to come here for months. I'm so glad we finally got out here.
Hey, I hope you had a good time. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.